While one side of the Red Bull garage is basking in success with Max Verstappen clinching his third consecutive World Championship, setting impressive records along the way, the other side, with Sergio Perez, tells a different story. For Perez, every weekend feels like an uphill battle, a constant struggle to create a clean and successful weekend. In 2023, Perez faced a bit of a rollercoaster ride, dealing with inconsistent form, while his teammate Max Verstappen owned the track, winning almost every race except 3. So why has Sergio Perez found it challenging to reach the performance level Max Verstappen consistently delivers every weekend? Despite starting the year on a solid note, outperforming Verstappen in 2 of the first 4 races, Perez's third year alongside the Dutch driver at Red Bull has become his worst. Various factors have contributed to Perez's struggle to match the pace set by Max Verstappen. One key factor behind Perez's struggle is how he drives compared to Verstappen. Verstappen adopts an angular approach, showcasing aggression when attacking corners. His technique involves a direct and less rounded line, allowing him to enter and navigate corners with increased speed, even with earlier braking. Plus, this style is like a tire and fuel-saving wizard. It keeps things gentle on the resources and doesn't compromise much on speed. Now, Perez goes for a more geometric vibe. It's all about those rounded lines in the corners. Sounds cool? Well, not exactly. This approach covers more distance, burning more tires and guzzling more fuel. The speed through the corners is notably slower, primarily because of poor positioning at corner entry. Perez has to slow down even more to get things turning. This delay in straightening out the car on exit means he applies less power. An oversteering car like the RB19 can elevate the risk of skidding, taking a toll on tyre condition and lap time. The construction of the red car is a topic that ignites debates among pundits and fans on various platforms. This is because the car is oversteering, a style that aligns with Max Verstappen's preferences. Before discussing that, let's first talk about what oversteer and understeer mean. It's all about how a car handles corners, and the two terms capture the essence of this handling. Oversteer is like the car's way of saying, front, hold tight, rear, you're free. The aerodynamics focus on planting the front end, giving the car flexibility and agility. By loosening up the rear, the goal is to make the car spin through the turn with a sharpness that optimizes the entry angle, shortens the corner distance, and sets up the car perfectly for a smooth exit, hitting the acceleration sweet spot early on. Now, understeer takes a different approach, relying on a firmly planted rear axle. This makes it challenging to spin the car when turning, resulting in less agility and efficiency in navigating the corner. The downside is a longer time to straighten the car on exit, delaying the application of power. These cars are known to be easier to handle, less nervous, and way more predictable than their oversteering counterparts. Like any other team, Red Bull isn't tailoring their cars to fit a driver's specific style or strengths. Nope, they're all about crafting the fastest machine possible. It's then up to the driver to handle it. But here's the thing, why can't some drivers take certain types of cars? A driver's toolkit includes sight, hearing, thinking ability, reflexes, and bodily sensitivity. Drivers feel the car with their bodies. It's like their sixth sense for racing. This sensitivity lets them interpret the car's body language, understand what needs to go crazy fast, and then apply it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Drivers like Verstappen, Senna, Hamilton, Schumacher, Alonso, Clark, and Reutemann, to name a few, have this pronounced sensory sensitivity. It's like a superpower that lets them go fast no matter what they're thrown into. This particular skill has been their sidekick throughout Max's stellar career, and this is what Perez seems to be lacking. Besides their distinct driving styles, there's a significant contrast in how Verstappen and Perez interact with the Red Bull car, particularly the RB19. Every Formula One car has a sweet spot, a magical operating window meticulously crafted by a team of brainy engineers, designers, and tech wizards. It's like the car's happy place, where it performs at its absolute best. And guess what? The driver doesn't decide this sweet spot. It results from some serious brainpower behind the scenes. Verstappen possesses the superpower of effortlessly guiding the RB19 right into that sweet spot, extracting the absolute best from it. However, the same cannot be said for Sergio Perez. Instead of guiding the car into its sweet spot, he emphasizes making it suit his driving style. In attempting to mold the car to his preferences, he inadvertently highlights its weaknesses. while keeping its strengths under wraps. It's like on one side of the garage the RB19 is living its best life, and on the other, it's undergoing a quick transformation into a completely different character. However, to say that Perez has yet to have any good moments in how he utilizes the RB19 would be wrong. He's had some seriously solid Sundays this season, making waves in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan, Austria, Hungary, and Monza. But to beat Max, he has to make the most of this sweet spot of the RB19 every weekend. Adaptability is another critical factor that sets Max Verstappen and Checo apart. Verstappen is like a champion chameleon, acing every series he steps into, except F3 where he snagged a respectable third place. With Van Amersfoort, his debut F1 season with Toro Rosso was nothing short of impressive. Once he hopped into a Red Bull, the guy's been unstoppable, winning races yearly. Whatever car you throw at Verstappen, he takes the wheel and squeezes out every ounce of potential. Now on the flip side, we have Checo. His big team debut with McLaren was a roller coaster, with loads of mistakes that eventually got him shown the exit. Fast forward to this season, and his struggle with oversteer cars is glaring. The past 2 years have seen a notable gap in qualifying and race pace between him and Verstappen. This gap is widening into unbridgeable territory. Perez has had limited chances to get head-to-head with Verstappen in the same race. Verstappen is like a quick change artist when adapting to different conditions and circuits. He masters it all swiftly. On the other hand, Checo is a bit more unpredictable. His performance goes through highs and lows, with standout moments separated by sometimes long valleys of not so great performances. Sergio Perez had this to say about Max Verstappen's adaptability skills. Verstappen has this remarkable ability to adapt swiftly. I find that a bit challenging. Consequently, he extracts more performance from the car and does it consistently every weekend. So it's not just about driving, it's about adapting. And in this race of adaptability, Verstappen is the seasoned pro. Max Verstappen and Checo have their unique mindsets when it comes to racing. Max, the Dutchman, keeps it cool and collected in his thoughts before each race and throughout the season. He knows better than to declare victory after just a few good races. When the media throws the question at him about winning the upcoming Grand Prix, he takes it step by step. First, he talks about fine-tuning the setup during practice. Once that's sorted, he moves on to the next challenge, qualifying. If he lands pole position, he remains focused, aiming for the best possible result during the race. Now let's talk about Checo. Right after celebrating his second win of the season, he's already making big statements, throwing his name in the hat for the championship. This victory, though, came after Red Bull's strategic mistake with Max, which they should have tried to fix with team orders. Checo didn't hold back in expressing his title aspirations, even with a hiccup in Australia that pushed him to start dead last. But here's where the story takes a turn. The pressure Checo puts on himself shows up in the next race in Miami. He needed help to match Max's level, losing much time throughout the weekend. Since then, things have been challenging for the Mexican. Unlike Max, who consciously eases off the pressure, Checo seems to be loading it up on his shoulders race after race. But the baseline of everything is that Verstappen is a rare talent, and there are just a few other drivers in the history of F1 who can compete with him. So it's not that Perez is that bad, Max is just phenomenal, even acknowledged by Perez himself. The Mexican driver recently stated, "Max is always at 100%. That's what sets him apart. He's not just a phenomenal talent, he's a diligent worker who deeply understands the reasons behind his success. Even in the face of setbacks, he quickly grasps the why behind it all." So the next time you see Max outperform Perez, instead of criticizing Perez, watch and celebrate the rare talent that Max Verstappen is.